Have you ever worried that your college's brand name is gonna define your entire career, especially in a place as competitive as India? Well, if that thought has ever crossed your mind, you're in the right place. Today, we're gonna break down how the rules of the game have totally changed. Let's get right into it.
So get this. Every single year in India, 1.5 million engineers graduate. I mean, just think about that number for a second. It's absolutely staggering, right? It really sets the stage for the kind of competition we're talking about, where it feels like you need every single advantage you can get just to stand out from the crowd.
And that really brings us to the big question, the one we're here to answer. In today's hyper-connected digital world, does that label on your degree, that college brand, still hold all the power? Is it really the final word on your career? Or just maybe, is there a new way to win?
So here's our game plan. First, we'll look at the college tier gap and understand why those top brands used to have such a huge leg up. Then we get to the really good part, how the rules completely changed. And we'll wrap it all up with a new formula for your success and a super important shift in mindset.
Okay, first things first. Let's just be real and acknowledge the college tier system. For decades, this unspoken hierarchy has shaped careers and, let's be honest, put a ton of pressure on students all over the country.
Now, this system creates what we can call a perception gap. It's this deep-seated belief that if you're not from a top-tier college, an IIT or an IAM, your professional life just has a lower ceiling. And that one idea has caused so much stress and anxiety for literally millions of students.
This table really breaks down what that old hierarchy looked like. You had the Tier 1 schools on one end with a global reputation, crazy strong networks, and the best companies lining up. And on the other end, Tier 3 colleges, often with a more local focus and a much tougher path to those top jobs. This was the world we were all told we had to plan.
So why? Why did that brand name carry so much weight for so long? I mean, there was a reason for it. Let's unpack the historical advantage of having that Tier 1 label on your resume.
It really boiled down to these 4 pillars. At the elite schools, you had access to amazing professors and cutting-edge research. You were surrounded by super ambitious peers, which just pushes everyone to be better. And then, of course, you had that incredible global alumni network and direct placements from the biggest companies on the planet.
And this quote just perfectly captures how recruiters used to think. For them, a Tier 1 brand was a shortcut, a signal of quality. The logic was simple. Hey, if this person was smart enough to get through that insanely tough entrance exam, they're probably a safe bet. The brand did all the heavy lifting. But then, everything began to change. The digital revolution showed up and basically became the great equalizer, completely rewriting the hiring rulebook. And this, my friends, is where the story gets really exciting.
The single biggest game changer, the internet. It's as simple as that. It systematically tore down the old walls and just dramatically shrank the resource gap that used to exist between different colleges.
And you can see that massive shift right here. In the old world, the main signal of your value was your college brand. Today, in the new reality, the primary signal is your practical skills. Recruiters want to see what you can actually do, not just where you learn to do it.
And it's the exact same story with networking. Access used to be locked up in these exclusive, members-only alumni clubs. But now, with platforms like LinkedIn, anyone from absolutely anywhere can connect with industry leaders and mentors. The doors have been blown wide open.
Okay, so we know the rules have changed. The big question is, how do you play this new game and win? Well, this brings us to the most actionable part of this whole thing, your new success formula. It's a simple 3-pillar strategy.
So, what's the new playbook? It comes down to this powerful 3-step formula. Number 1, build skills, the practical skills that companies are desperate for. 2, build proof, a portfolio that shows you can actually use those skills. And 3, build networks, to get your skills in front of the right people. Skills, proof, and networks. Let's break each one down.
All right, let's talk pillar 1, skills. We're not talking about just memorizing theory from a textbook here. We're talking about high-demand, practical skills that solve real-world problems. Things like data analytics, cybersecurity, full-stack development, you see the list. These are the skills that make you valuable in today's market.
But here's the thing. Just learning a new skill isn't enough, not anymore. And that brings us to the second pillar, which is honestly just as important as the first. You have to prove you can use what you've learned. You have to demonstrate it.
This is what we call proof of work. It's your public collection of projects on sites like GitHub for code, or Kaggle for data science, or Behance for design. This portfolio, that's your new resume. It's undeniable, tangible evidence of what you can bring to the table. And that brings us to the final crucial pillar, networks. So how are jobs really found today? This chart tells a fascinating story. The single biggest slice of opportunities comes from professional connections and referrals. This is often called the hidden job market, and tapping into it through networking isn't just a nice to have anymore, it's absolutely essential.
So we've covered the strategy, the skills, the proof, the network, but you know what? None of it works without this final and maybe most important piece of the puzzle, a major shift in your mindset. It's all about changing how you see your own value.
Because at the end of the day, the biggest thing holding you back isn't the name on your degree. It's a self-limiting mindset. It's that little voice in your head telling you that you can't compete. But the new reality proves that you absolutely 100% can.
So, it's time to throw out the old question. It's time to stop defining yourself by asking, which college did I attend? That question belongs to a world that doesn't really exist anymore.
And instead, start asking this, a much more powerful question. What value can I create? Because in today's world, your success is defined less by where you came from and so much more by what you can build, what problems you can solve, and what you can contribute. That is the question that will truly define your future.